Hi, I'm Debbie from craftiercreations.blogspot.com, and today I'm coming to you with the Sunkissed stamp set, and it is in the new mini catalog. And if you don't have a demonstrator or haven't received a catalog, just shoot me a message and I certainly can get one sent out to you. This stamp set here is going to be part of my bonus class that I offer to my monthly club for August. And I thought I would share a couple cards ahead of time to give a little bit of sneak peeks for my monthly clubbers, and to talk about my monthly club a little bit, and to show you how I did some watercolor backgrounds. Now, July was World Watercolor Month, and I love it when we have things like that pop up that kind of puts our mind back into maybe a technique or something that maybe we haven't done for a while, because it really did bring me back into doing some watercoloring, which I love to do anyway, but I just hadn't spent the time doing it. So for last month's monthly club, we actually did watercoloring, and we used the chalk pastels. So I've kind of still been in a watercolor kick. And this particular stamp set I thought worked really well with the watercolors. I also did some other cards because I've designed all the cards already for the bonus class, but I'm going to share a couple sneak peeks, and you'll be able to find all the details on my monthly club will be listed down below. And don't forget to like my video, follow my YouTube channel. You can also sign up to be part of my monthly club, or sign up to get be on my mailing list. Sorry, I was trying to figure out my words. Anyway, let's get on with what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to show you how I did my watercolor background, and then I already have some pre-done because I always like to just let them sit out and air dry. Honestly, when I do watercoloring, I do a whole bunch at once, let them dry. And I may not use them all at once. I just stack them up and I keep them in an area, and then sometimes when I need to pull out to make some quick cards, I have watercolor backgrounds already done, because we have a lot of stamps, big solid bold stamps that work really good with watercoloring. We will also be using the Stamparatus today. I found it's easier to use that when we're stamping on watercolor paper. Now, a couple of these that I'm going to show, this particular one right here, I stamped on shimmer white, and I know you probably cannot tell. And this was actually the second pickup of the watercolor I had down on my mat. So that's why it's much lighter, excuse me. But I thought it worked really well with the palm tree set. Easy peasy background, stamp it, and you've got a card. So I thought this was great. So there's that one. And then I pulled out the new, let's see, what is this one called? Bouquet of Thanks. And these are going to be my thank you cards I'm mailing out for all the customers that ordered from me in July will get this card. So I decided it was a great way to use this bigger, bolder stamp and just stamp on the backgrounds. And now I was using Parakeet Party, Pool Party, and Mango Melody in these. And that's I'm going to kind of pull in the same colors again, but we may add some more. Who knows? You know, anything goes when you're doing watercolor background. Then I'm going to show you one more from the Sunkissed set, and this one is just using a block, a clear block. You stamp the ink on it. I spritzed it, stamped it down, and then I just stamped this in basic gray this time. And it looks much greener than it does the Pool Party, but that's, I'm not sure why. It could be my ink was darker, or maybe I did mess up there, but I'm pretty sure I did Pool Party, but I'm going to make some more, so we'll see. And this might be one we do in the bonus class for monthly club. So, but again, if you're interested in monthly club, now is a great time to join, because I've extended the registration for it. It's $36 a month. We make 5 cards, 2 of each. And starting after August, if you sign up before August 5th, you'll get in on that 36. If you sign up after that, my price is going up to 38. But anybody that's already signed up and part of monthly club will get locked in at that 36. So I've extended that through August 5th. So you want to get in and register today. Today's a great day to register, right? Okay, so what we're going to do, and I'm going to do a few samples on our Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and these are 5x7, and so I usually just work on the whole piece, the large piece itself, and then you can cut them in half, or you can cut it down to fit however you want, because sometimes you may not like the whole piece of the watercolor that you did. So, and then I cut some shimmer paper at 4.5 by 5.5. I just cut it directly in half, and then we'll do some trimming to put the card together. Okay, and then all you need is a spritzer with some water in it, and then whatever ink colors you're going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, these are two of the new ink colors, Parakeet Party and Starry Sky, and I have to say, I love these two combos together. These are awesome together. And you can do this so many different ways. You can do it with refills. You can do it with Stampin' on your craft mat here. Now I'm using waterproof craft mat. If you don't have one of these, you can do it on paper. You'll be soaking up a lot of paper, or wax paper works perfect, because then you can just, when you're done, roll up your wax paper and throw it away. You will need a paper towel. So I'm going to grab one of those just so I have it handy, just to blot up any excess. So I just took the ink pad, did that, and then I'm just going to spritz it here, just making sure I'm staying in my work surface here, because I have a lot of stuff scattered out. And we will start with, how about if we start with, we'll do one first in the shimmer white. Now I'm going to spritz the front and back just lightly, just so it's a little bit damp. And if you do both sides, then you don't get the curling effect as much. Now all I'm going to do is what we like to call smushing. Some people call it that anyway. And I did a video a couple weeks, and I will link that video here also, where I used a piece of acetate to help pick up, I think I did in that video anyway. I can't even remember if that was the video that I did use the acetate, but you can, and I'll show it. You can use the acetate to pick up some of the ink if you want. But all I kind of do is this, and then you flip it over and you see what you got going on. We're going to flip it over again. So we've got some nice color going on right there. So now I'm going to bring in the watercolor piece, and I'm going to spritz it really quick. Now you can do both colors at once if you want. You just have to be careful that you don't have colors that might get muddy when they combine. So there's picking this up. I'm trying to decide if I want any more of that. I don't think so. So I think I'm going to leave these two just like this. I'm going to wipe this up. And then what I'm going to do, just dab a little bit here. Dab a little bit, what I got pooling right there. And you might pick up fuzzies off your mat too. So then we're just going to take the Starry Sky and basically do the same thing. Now the next ones, I'll show you how to do it where you have both colors down at the same time. Now remember, the Starry Sky is going to be really dark, so we want to be careful that, and you see I'm splattering already. We want to be careful that don't do it like what I just did. Move your piece out of the way so you don't get that splattering, but you're not going to notice it when you're done. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? I mean, right now I probably would stop with this one. I'm going to set it down for a minute, and I'm going to pick up some of this one. See what we got going on there? And every one of these is going to turn out different. You're not going to ever have one that looks exactly like the last one did. Now I think I'm liking what I got going on here. So let's get this wiped up. And you will get your hands dirty. But wish I would have called my name of my club, like Inky Fingers, or I know somebody has that one, so I couldn't, but those are great names for some of the stamping that we do. I think those are great names for clubs and teams and things like that. I'm happy with how those two look right now. So I'm just going to put these aside really quick. I have just some scrap paper behind me that has been used and used and used, and I just put them on that to dry. Okay, so this time let's do, I'm going to bring in, let's do just some blues. So I'm going to lay down some Pool Party, which is very light. And I'm going to lay down quite a bit because you can't really see it. Then I'm going to lay down some Starry Sky. Can't see too much of that because we're using a lot of blues. Tahitian Tide. And I'm sorry, these are the two that I think go together really well. Parakeet Party and Tahitian Tide. I mean, the Starry Sky does go with it too, as you just saw. We'll do some with this one too. So now let's lay down a little bit of this. And I want to add a little bit of yellow, but let's start with this. Okay, spritz the front and back. And we have some nice pretty blues going on there. Isn't that pretty? And then we'll spritz this. I'm going to spritz it off screen just so I don't add any more water right there. And this time I'm just going to plop it down and let it soak up what's left here. And see what we get going on. Ooh, nice blues. Now, what I'm thinking I will do is set this aside, and then I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to grab me a new paper towel. And I think what I want to do is add a little bit of Mango Melody. And the way I'm going to do it is just... Now, the Mango Melody is a little bit of an orangish yellow color. It's not necessarily yellow. And I am going... This one's... I mean, it's not completely dry, and I'm going to dab off the wetter spots, and then I'm just going to pick it up. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, but picking up watercolor like this is so much fun. There we go. Now, if you don't want that much yellow, you certainly can do just a quick, like very quick tapping of what you got left going on. See, there we go. Much lighter. But isn't that so pretty? Another gorgeous background. And I'll just let these dry, and then when I post all of this out on my blog, I'll make a couple cards with a couple of these. Now I'm just dabbing this to kind of get rid of what's pooling there. It would dry, but it's kind of nice to dab the water away that you've got soaking there. And I'm okay that we have a little bit of white spots in some of it. I think it could get cut away, and it could end up being on part of the card. Okay, so let's do one more color combo. What should we do? Maybe we should do something totally different. So how about if we do some greens? How about if we do, here, I'm going to close up my blue because I've been doing a lot of blues, which is fine. Let's try Soft Seafoam, which is very light. So we're going to put that down first, liberally. Then we're going to put a little bit of mint macaroon. And then I'm going to try the Granny Apple Green, which is close to the new Parakeet Party, but it is a little different. And as long as you're not starting with dark and then going light, you're okay tapping your pad down right there. If you were starting with the dark and then finishing with light, then you'd be picking it up. But always start with your lighter color first. Now we have a huge area here that I've covered, which is perfect. Again, I'm gonna, oh, we have, oh, one more. Okay, cool. So we'll be able to do one more at the end. I'll do the last one. I'll show you on the ink refills how to do it. So I spritzed front and back. Now you can just do this, pick it up, and end up with something like that. Real quick, I'm gonna bring in, so here's my piece of acetate, and I'm gonna show you how I did that way. I'm gonna spritz front and back here on my watercolor paper. And I'm gonna set it right here. Hopefully you can see everything. Yes, that's right there. And you can pick this up like this. Come over here and add your ink this way. This is another way to do it. I'm kind of running out of room here, so I'm going to have to move it just a little bit. Whoops, now I dropped it. Backside will be colored too. Now, you get a much lighter effect doing this, but it does work. It gives you a different way of adding. And you can also take, like when you've got your ink down here, you can blow some of that around. See, I got a nice effect going there. I don't even think I'm going to blot that up necessarily like I normally would. I think I'm going to kind of let it dry just like that with those little darker spots there. We're going to see what happens there. And I'm going to set these two aside. Okay. Okay, we'll clean up this mess. And you can use any kind of acetate. You can use a piece that, like some of the photopolymer ones come with the clear plastic. If you don't keep that piece, those work great for this too. I was trying to do the alcohol and the alcohol marker blending, and I don't know if the temperature in my room was because it was really hot the day I did this, or what the deal was, but it wasn't working. I eventually did get it to work, but yeah, I was having some issues that day. And I'll actually show you that card before we're done, that I had done with that. Okay, I have one piece of, and I could grab another watercolor piece. Let's do, oh, I know what I was going to do. Drops. So how about if we do some pool party. So I'm just going to do like, I don't know, 5, 7, 6, however many drops you want. And you don't need that many. So we'll do pool party and So Saffron. That's probably way too many of that one, but it'll work. And then, so now we're getting a little bit different effect because it's just spreading. I'm kind of putting my hand here just so it's blocking from not splattering on my stamp that I have there. Spritz, this is shimmer paper here. And then I'm going to kind of do this kind of, I'm going to bend and pick up. Bend and pick up. We're getting a whole different color combo. A lot of different things going on there. Now I'm going to grab another watercolor piece of paper. Now when you're using your watercolor paper, I made samples with this cover piece. I just cut it where this seam was and I used this side of it. I don't know if it's exactly the same as this, but I did do it, and I'll show you. I'll pull those out and show you here in a minute. So spritz it Like I said, every one of them is different. You never get one that is exactly the same. And it's kind of addicting. If you're ever wanting to be crafty but can't get some inspiration going, sit down and just make a whole bunch of watercolor backgrounds. That's what I do sometimes. And then I end up with a whole bunch. I just let them dry, and if I don't use them right then, I will eventually use them. Okay. That. Now, I am going to show you a bunch of the ones that I had already pre-made. Tahitian Tide and Parakeet Party were these, is this one. Same here. Same effect. Just picked up different. This was probably second layering. This was probably first. This is Mango Melody with Pool Party and Balmy Blue. Again, some more with the Tahitian Tide and some Mango Melody in this one. Mango Melody with Starry Sky. This is a lot of Mango Melody and very little of, sorry, not Starry Sky, Balmy Blue here. This is Starry Sky here. Balmy Blue and Mango Melody again. Several blues on this particular one and with Mango Melody. And then the other one I wanted to show you, let me find it really quick before we actually make our card. Oh, here it is. This is the one I had done with, this one's on vellum. Yeah, on vellum doing the alcohol technique. And I'll have to do another video on how to do this one. Like I said, when I was trying to make them the other day, I was having lots of problems, but then I did finally get some made. But again, kind of the same effect, but you're using the Stampin' Blends and alcohol to spread out your background, and you can do it on either acetate or vellum works for these. Okay, so for what I'm going to make today, I think we'll use, oh gosh, I think we'll use this one here. And what I have ready, now I pulled out Starry Sky, but this is Tahitian Tide. So I'm going to go pull a different, well, or we could use black, but I'm going to pull out the Tahitian Tide and show you both just so you can see. But let's stamp it first. And I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Oh, I still have on my, I had been making my thank you cards. But we're going to bring in the Sunkissed. Now, remember when you alter your paper, especially with water like that, it's going to, even though we spritzed it, and if we wouldn't have spritzed both sides, it would want to curl even more. So it's not flat. As you can see, it's not going to lay flat. But what I'm going to do, and since we're cutting it down, I'm not going to worry too much about it. If it was the exact size and you were covering the whole thing, like if it was a big bold stamp that you were covering the whole thing, you could just put a little bit of tape on your scrap piece here and hold it in place that way if you can't use your magnets, but we can use the magnets here. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do is stamp, I was almost going to be a little bold and stamp it in Tahitian Tide, but actually I will try it, because if we don't like what it looks like, we can go right back over it with Memento Black. That's the nice thing about using the Stamparatus, is you can get, and with stamping like this, I like using the Stamparatus than just putting it on a block, because you've got such a busy background, you want this to be a dark, bold impression when you stamp it. And remember, we're going to cut this piece down after we're done stamping. So let's try the Tahitian Tide just for the heck of it. You know, that's the nice thing about stamping, is anything goes for any color for anything. Like we're stamping palm trees in blue. Nobody cares. They don't have to be green. I'm going to leave it just like that. I think that is so pretty. Maybe you don't agree, and I know I can't tell, but you'll have to post out there if you like it or not. I mean, I could stamp it over in black just so you could see, but then we can't take the black back. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. I think it just gives it a different look. Actually, before I pull it off completely, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to clean this really quick, and I am going to put a phrase on this one. So let's pull this off, and let's put, now I could stamp it with the block, but I'm not going to in case I want to do it again. Like I could have stamped this again to make it darker. Now, when you're using the Stamparatus, I'm going to clean that just a little bit, and then I'm going to stamp it lightly again because I got a lot of excess on the side and I don't want to mess up my card. So I think I'm going to be okay now. Now, when I go to trim, I'm not going to be trimming much off this side, which is fine. Isn't it so pretty? I got a lot of, I don't know what that splatter is right there, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. We'll move this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to grab a piece. Give me just 2 seconds. I think this piece I can trim down. I think so. We'll see here. So we're going to trim this one down to 3 3/4 by 5. And we can't go any more on this side, so we're going to see how this will work. 3 3/4 is going to be right here. Oh yeah, that's going to work perfect. 3 3/4, and we want 5. So we're going to take, oops. I want to take a little bit off of top and bottom. So let's just take a little bit off the bottom first. Yeah, that should work. There we go. Now, if we would have stamped in black, it would have totally changed the look of the card. And then I think I would have layered with the black layer that I had out. But since we tried something new, we're going to roll with it. Right? 4, I went 4, right? Yeah, 4 by 5 1/4. So this is going to be our layer. Oh, it's already 4 1/4. Or 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4, that piece is. And normally I would tell you to like die cut a shape out of this if you were adding some kind of circles, rectangles, whatever. And sometimes I die cut out of them anyway, just to have that scrap piece of paper for down the road. But here's what this would look, here's what this is going to turn out like. Now, just to give you an idea, here's what the black would have been, and we would have stamped in black. Black is a very bold, popping background, and I use black to pop a lot. But this time we're going to do it different. Living La Vida Loca. I was told that sometimes I use a little bit too much black. Now we're going to score this at 4 1/4 for my layering, but I really do like how it pops. Okay. We have 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Now, when you alter a piece of paper, remember we talked about that, it's warped, it's not going to lay flat. So I always add extra adhesive, and you can either use mono glue, you know, whatever your, that's about empty. So let's pull out my Stampin' Seal. And I'm adding extra here. And then we're just going to layer this down centered there. And there's our layer. Normally I like to use the Stampin' Seal Plus, but I need to put a new refill in it and I keep forgetting. Now, we're going to add a little bit of bling here, and we have the in color. Now you could go Tahitian Tide, we could go the Parakeet Party. Let's see here what we might want to do. I'm going to first grab, and see that kind of blends in right there where we want to put it. So let's try the Tahitian Tide, but I kind of want to use a little one just right there. Yes, I like that. Now I could have pulled one that was a little bit darker. Here, I'm going to lift that back up, because these are variegating colors. They go from lighter to darker on the in color gems, or decorative dots, sorry. There, I like that one better because it's a little bit darker. And there we go. There is our, I want to say quick, simple card. I know we did a bunch of backgrounds first, but if you had a bunch of backgrounds already made up that you spent, you know, an hour making a whole bunch of backgrounds, let them out to dry, the next day you went and stamp, you could make, you know, 50 cards very quickly, which I'm getting ready to make cards for a swap to go to Backstage New Orleans that's coming up pretty soon, and I might do something like this, because then I could just make a whole bunch of backgrounds at once, which I have a whole bunch already ready. I can probably do it and then pick a stamp it, and get swaps done quickly, because when you're making for swaps, you certainly don't want them to be too difficult to make. If you're going to make a whole bunch, and using the Stamparatus, I could whip out a whole bunch at once. So there you go. So that was today's sneak peek of the Sunkissed stamp set, which is part of the bonus class that's being offered with my monthly club. And like I said, I will have all the info down below, and don't forget to follow my YouTube channel and sign up to be on my email list. And if you're interested in joining that monthly club, you want to join within the next few days so that you get in at that locked $36 price. And if you live local to the Arlington, Washington area, I'm going to be doing some live events coming up in September, and then we're doing one in October for World Card Making Day, and then I have another one coming up actually November, September, October, and November. And I'll be posting those within the next couple weeks. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the watercolor background with the new Sunkissed stamp set. And of course, you could turn, depending on where you live, you could turn these into Christmas cards, depending on what colors you use too. But this would be a great Christmas card. You can say Sunny Seasons Greetings. It doesn't even have to have anything Christmassy on it, because if you live in a tropical climate and that's what you want to send out, I think that would be an awesome card to do. I don't live in a tropical climate. Pacific Northwest. Yes, it's rainy, but not tropical. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next week. Bye.